everyone. Welcome back to Sapphire Soup du Jour. Stirring the pot and serving the latest soup each and every week. Told you we were going to have guests. We're chilling here today. We got my dear friend Mirage Eclipse here. Say hello, Mirage. Yes.
Hey kids, what's going on?
Folk queen by night and retail manager by day. She's got 10 years of retail management experience, and in a few minutes we're going to start talking with her a little bit about that. So we're sitting here drinking some nice wine. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes, we like our wine. Body, blood of Christ.
Amen.
And staying warm on a nice cold winter's day here in Michigan. So, what's happening?
Oh, nothing much. Just got home from work. It was cold as heck outside. And I thought we would maybe take some time to talk about hiring and looking for jobs and work ethic. Like you mentioned, I've been in management positions for over 10 years. I've been store managers, I've been an assistant manager, and everything in between. And over the years, I've really noticed a decline in work ethic, and also the quality of candidates that we get to hire as well.
Very true. And so at night, she's a folk queen or female by female, right? Female by female entertainer. Entertainer that you don't usually see. Obviously, as you can see by the face, the makeup skills above and beyond ordinary, which she could tell you a little bit, but the one thing she says about it is she looks like a real girl all day. Why would she want to look like one at night?
Exactly.
She does not look like this during the day at work. We will not reveal where she works and exactly what she does, but she is a manager at a retail store. And she started out, well, I'll let you tell most of the story, but you started out as an 18-year-old on your own, and you've been in retail and worked your way up ever since, so...
Yep. I got kicked out of the house / left the house when I was actually 19. And I literally had $200 to my name, a prepaid phone, and the coat on my back. I was working full-time for a local retailer as a cashier, making pretty close to minimum wage. And I just worked really hard. I was always that person that they could call when people called off. I was always asking for more responsibility, more hours. And, you know, I didn't require any schooling. It was just basically the effort that I put in. I wound up becoming a lead cashier after about 6 months of working as a cashier full time. I kind of got sick of the monotony, and I decided to go into the grooming salon of this place.
Good.
I know, girl, right? But I wanted to work more with animals than I did with people, because animals don't talk back. And I went into the grooming salon and had to basically start fresh there. So I started as a bather and a brusher, where I basically just gave the dogs baths, trimmed their nails, did basic grooming. They sent me to grooming school after several months, and when I came back
she learned to groom
school,
me.
That's a task, girl. Clogs the drains too.
I look good in the burlap bag though, so you know.
Now we just need one for your head.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, it comes with.
Oh, girl. Built in.
Uh-oh. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry about that.
But once I came back from grooming school, our current salon manager had stepped down for personal reasons. And because of all the hard work I had put in, they made me the grooming salon manager. So that was my first management position. I did that for about 3 years, and I saw a lot of things I really didn't want to see as far as animals that were mistreated, and unfortunately I wasn't in the position to say anything about it, so I decided to venture off into regular retail as far as management. I've been in several different industries: electronics, clothing, pet care, food-ish, you name it. So I've been around and seen some things.
And when you talk about, you know, you want to talk about hiring and stuff, one of the things we talked about before was the young people is it's different than it used to be, and every generation says the same thing. My grandparents said it, their grandparents said it to them, and so on and so on. But today, the big challenge you've got is you're not even talking about full-time employees. You're trying to hire high school and college part-time people and juggle people. And your one retail store, you literally were juggling people with 4 to 8 hours a week. Right. It's hard to be serious about a job when you're working for $7 an hour and you get 4 hours a week and it's $28 before taxes. You're going to go into work on a day when it's 13 below?
But on the other hand, you know, when you go in for an interview, they tell you everything you need to know. They tell you how much you're going to make. They tell you about how many hours you're going to work. I mean, obviously, give or take during busier seasons of the year.
Right.
But once you make that commitment and you understand, I feel like you're making a promise to that company that you're willing to do that.
Absolutely.
It's not like you go in your first day and they spin the wheel of payroll to determine your rate of pay and you're locked into a contract to work for them.
You've done it long enough to know that you do not, it's like dating. You're on your best behavior. The interview is a bullcrap process where
for sure.
everybody's on their best behavior.
Yeah.
And the more sought after the employee is, sometimes the employer might be the one on their best behavior. And when you have a person like you being career-minded and a manager, and a lot of the managers aren't even as career-minded as you, but when you have somebody that's career-minded, and you are full-time, paid well, it's a lot different than a person that works part-time. It shouldn't be.
Oh, absolutely.
But it is. And a little bit, like, I know we talk extensively about, you know, the hiring process and what you see in people, what you seek in people, not what you see in them, but what it is you're looking for in an employee. And a lot of times it's hard to achieve that. It seems that a lot of people want everything and don't want to give much for it, and that goes on both sides. So
yeah, absolutely. I feel like, you know, both parties are accountable. You know, you need to be honest. If you're the employer and you're interviewing, you need to be honest about the rate of pay. You need to be honest about the hours and the benefits and so on. And as somebody who's doing an interview, you also need to be honest and realistic about your commitments too. I've seen people, you know, they'll hire in and they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then a few months in, you start seeing these red flags, like they're late all the time, or they call off quite a bit, or they have crazy, unusual requests off, or they demand weird shifts, you know, change their availability. So I've seen a lot of that, and I feel like the longer I'm in management, the more this becomes prevalent.
And I've done my share of hiring people, and I found the same thing. You never know what you're going to get, and to be quite honest, a lot of times you never know as an employee what you're going to get. But the work ethic, that is something that is instilled inside of somebody, and it's more than work ethic. It's personal pride. It's stick-to-itiveness, whether you're performing. Because I know your work ethic, the way you perform. I see you make your costumes. I see you design all your stuff. I see you do your makeup. There's a lot that goes into it. It's not a lot of fun. It takes you a while to look like that. I wake up looking like this.
Girl,
she don't.
But at least I don't look like a real girl.
You know.
You know.
But, and that's the thing, you don't, on stage, you know, diverting from the work ethic a little bit, you don't want to look like a real girl on stage because it's something you see all the time. Not to say that it's right or wrong, but that's just your personal thing. And that's, you know, one of these days we're going to do an episode on drag, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to
yes, it will.
There'll be a bottle of wine involved. We're going to make sure that we have a couple of different people involved in the conversation. It'll be myself, Mirage, and a couple of other people. We want to get all sides of the story. But, the wine made me burp. But we're not going to go into that right now. What we're going to stick to is talking about Mirage and her work stuff. But also, she works at least 40 hours a week during the, well, I won't even say during the day because your schedule varies. So you work at least 40 hours a week at your day job, we'll call it. And then you put at least that many hours in. And I know it because we're partners. And I see you, and I know how much work you put into the music. I see you sitting, and it's not even just putting a needle into the thread. It's not necessarily doing it. It's the amount of time spent researching music. You come up with songs I've never heard of that I love, and I just eat my heart out half the time, and I want to steal them.
Finders keepers.
I know, but I don't. So, but it's just a tribute to the work ethic that is when you decide to do something, you've got to do it. And I don't mean you, I mean one. When one decides to do something, one has to stick to it and do it. And I didn't know that when I was a kid. I was a very good athlete when I was a kid. And I didn't have the determination and the discipline to go to the level I needed to go. Would I have been a pro? I don't know. I feel I would, but a lot of people do. But I was a very good athlete, and I always was on the all-star team and always was, just always a good athlete. That's all I did was play sports. My work ethic was crap, so I didn't pursue it. Of course, it was not a multi-million-dollar career, and I wasn't doing it for the money, so that's different. But now you've got people that, speaking of, back to the work ethic, is you've got to have the drive and determination to do it. It's hard when you're talking about work because it's not what you want to be doing, it's what you've got to be doing. And then a lot of people, you don't have that same thing. When people say find what you love and you never work another day in your life, you still work, you just love what you do. And
that's very hard to come by too as well. There's not equal opportunities for people. Like for example, I'm definitely not working my dream job. Not to say that I don't enjoy my day job, but it's not what I aspire to do with my life. So that kind of puts a dark cloud over my mood sometimes. But as I've told several people in the past, nobody really wants to have a job. Nobody really wants to wake up in the morning. So why are you going to come into work with a crap attitude and bring everybody else down around you? Just because I'm not working my dream job, I try to be the best that I can be, and I try to stay positive, and I'm very mindful of my moods. And I can tell when I'm about to get into a bad mood or I am in a bad mood, and I pull myself back, and I'm like, okay, let's go do a project or something, take my mind off of that instead of being disrespectful to my coworkers or my superiors. It's not cool.
Or customers.
Or customers too, yeah.
And that's the thing too, like with the social media now, I used to tell people, especially in the bar scene when I ran the bar, when you are an employee, you cannot be on social media going crazy talking about the next person that says this, I'm snapping their neck. Because you've got customers that come into in your case, a store, in our case, a bar where you're trying to bring people in, and then you've got a bartender or wait staff going crazy all day on Facebook. Yes, it's their personal page, but
do you really want to deal with them? Right,
it's like you're trying to bring people into your store, or you're trying to bring people into your store that you work at it's not like a Target or a J.C. Penney where people just come and go. It's people, your customers. Right. You get to know them. You get to know the things that are important to them, So it's not the same as just going to Target and, the cashier because you see her every once in a while. Because you've got people that you give them advice based on the products that you sell, and they take your advice. And, it's a very different world with that. But when you're talking about work ethic, we complain a lot, and like I said earlier when we started this, all generations complain, but now we've got a generation, the millennials, I guess it would be the younger generation.
And oddly enough, I'm considered that, but I don't act it.
But your work ethic is different. And I'll tell you something, I've known you since 2010. I've known you to take 1, maybe 2 days off of work. And it was the same incident, and it was when you were extremely sick, and you had gone to work for around 5 or 6 days extremely sick, and finally, I do believe it was the people, your coworkers, who finally demanded you stay home, but you do not miss work. Your work ethic is amazing for somebody of your age, and I won't divulge your age, but
I'm 35. I'm an old bag.
Okay. I ain't gonna say how old I am, but I'm 15 years older.
Yeah. She's a relic.
Like relish, but with a K. I know it's a C. Don't even start. Don't even try to do that, grammar police. There. Your.
Well, I'm technically a grandmother by default.
You are a grandmother. And that's funny, too, because when we
No,
met...
it's not.
Oh, that's hilarious. 35-year-old grandmother, we met when you were 27. And she's been a grandma ever since. Got a grandma, never gave birth to a child before, but she got some grandbabies running around. So... the basic of the story, I think, is we want to figure out, like, I'm going to ask you now a couple of tips. Like, if there's anybody that's going to watch this that may want to know, what is it that, seeing that you're a supervisor, seeing that you are a person in the you do the hiring and interviewing, what is it that you look for with somebody coming in? I know personally, the way they dress is important. You better dress for success.
And that even starts before the interview. One of the things I've noticed, people come in asking for paper applications, which is almost pretty much a thing of the past. They're wearing their Daisy Duke shorts. It looks like a walrus is flossing his teeth because the string is so high up their butt. I probably will not consider that person for a position. And I know some people think it's shallow and petty, but I know if I was going into a place looking for an application, I would be at least in something semi-professional.
Dress means a lot.
Yeah.
It does. You dress for success. Even, real quick sidebar, the Detroit Lions hired a coach who wears a pencil with his hat turned backward and a big old scruffy beard. And people say he should trim the beard, lose the pencil because he doesn't look professional. Look the part. But it doesn't always mean you don't judge a book by its cover, but at the same time. Especially when you're looking for a job, you come in, like you said, looking like a Daisy Duke, like, are you applying to Henry VIII or are you applying to Target?
Exactly.
Or the girl from Henry VIII would say, Target.
Bougie.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Bougie. I put the boo in bougie.
Oh.
So, yeah. So the tips, like show up for the interview prepared. Show up for the application process like you're going to the interview. And don't use slang words. Speak English.
Yes.
Proper. Not proper English. Proper American. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, eh? Oh, wait, that's Canadian. My head don't separate when I talk, so I'm not truly Canadian.
Hey, buddy.
I just whistled my S.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So, and, okay, so now enough about that for a minute. Let's talk a little bit about this performing. You, folk queen, female by female, that's more in the drag world, which you've now started to become involved in a new thing at the aviary, and I'm not going to divulge too much about it because I'll let you talk about it, but it's basically a circus class that you're doing, and it's pole dancing and trapeze, and it's not stripping. It's not stripping. It's classy stuff, and it's very difficult. And if you see on your Instagram and stuff, and I'll let you pitch it, but I'll help a little bit. On the Instagram, you can see her and doing a lot of the pole dancing and stuff, and all the clothes stay on. It's fit for anybody's eyes, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of fun. But now you're doing shows there about 4 times a year. Mm-hmm. So that's a lot of fun for you. And I've been to a couple of them, and I think that's a lot of fun. So you have anything to add about that?
Well, I've been going there for about 6 months. And I feel like it's really added to my entertainment value. I've been entertaining for about 6 years. And unfortunately, the bar scene is just not where it's at. I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of mean girls. There's a lot of people who don't value my entertainment for what it is. There's been a lot of really shady things that have happened to me. I'm sure.
And that happens. The shadiness and the backstabbing and the cutthroat. That's any industry, and that doesn't. And it's not excluded in the Detroit drag scene. It's anywhere with anything.
Right.
So well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, I want to throw that in there because I don't want to sit. We're not going to make it a bashing session. Right. But you feel that you get more out of your performing now at another place doing, and it's funny too because when I go to the shows, you got 100+ people there. It's sold out. They're hooping and hollering. They literally put birthday hats and loud New Year's Eve those whistles with the thing on the end to go up. That was probably a weird sound, but whatever. They got those on. They have those on the chairs, and they hoop and holler, and it's a lot of fun. But they don't. It's just something that they don't have the same kind of atmosphere that the entertainment world breeds. It's more geared toward one-on-one, and are more geared toward individual achievement and stuff. And that's something that everybody likes to do. The nice part about it is you're the only one who, they all paint a face, so to speak, but you're the only one who comes in high makeup, over the top, costumes, and everything. For instance, last weekend, your show, you had the light up wings and everything, and you guys can check that out on the Sapphire Soup du Jour YouTube page. I've got it on there for you, and you can see her in action doing her thing. So not only is she a manager by day, but she's a folk queen by night. And as always, you're free to rebut anything here and add in Sapphire's Soup du Jour at gmail.com, or you can hit us up on our Facebook.
Not on mine.
Well, you can hit me up on mine. No, she's on here. You can hit her up. Mirage Cat Eclipse on Facebook. The Mirage Eclipse on Instagram, right?
Yes.
There you go. But no, in all seriousness, she's a hard-working gal. She's got a wicked mouth and a wicked tongue, but she's got a heart of gold, and she just wants to find her place in the community of entertainment, and I think you found it, and I'm glad for you for that. As far as the work ethic and as far as your career goes, I've told you many, many times, I wish that you would sometimes take the same approach without the same ferociousness. Your entertainment personality is more ferocious. Your daytime personality is a lot less ferocious, and I think sometimes you could find an easy blend in between the two, but you can't let people walk on you at the same time either,
right.
So you just got to do your thing.
Unfortunately, that's a problem with the entertainment world, is that seems what it's all about, squashing people, and that's not so much during my day job. Also, entertainment doesn't pay my bills, so that's another reason.
That's mine.
But that's another reason I speak my mind.
Well, yeah, everybody should. And like one of the things that you and I talk about, because we're so close, is I pick a lot less battles. Like, you'll die on a lot more hills. You'll go after people more. But you're not doing it to be mean. You're doing it to speak your mind about what's going on. Social media, to me, I stay out of a lot of the mess. You like a lot of the mess. And I call it mess, but a lot of it's debate, I let people say what they have to say, and I just kind of move on. Sometimes I might reply back, but usually it ends up getting me in trouble, and I try not to do it. But, all right, everybody, that does it for us. Thanks for joining me, Miss Mirage Eclipse. You're going to see a lot more of her coming up. We thank you for watching Sapphire's Soup du Jour, stirring the pot and serving the latest soup each and every week, right here just for you guys. Have a good night. Thank you.